I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Mike, OCPcommunications, my good friend. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics or reactions or reviews or re-reviews or anything in between, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this was a topic that he wanted me to talk about on unmade films. What unmade films have you heard of that you would love to have seen come to fruition? Now, I could spend like an hour on this, but I decided to pick a couple that came to mind. Because it's interesting looking into the world of unmade films, because you always wonder if somehow you got into a parallel dimension, right? I know this is a weird topic, just bear with me. You get a parallel dimension, and you look at the films that were never made. What if they did get made? Let me take, give me a week in that dimension and take all those movies and bring them over here. For example, back in the day, around the early 2000s, Steve Barron, the guy who directed the original 1990 Ninja Turtles film, he was going to do another Turtles movie. And it was going to be for Hallmark Entertainment, weirdly enough, and it was going to be a miniseries where it's supposed to be a 2-night event and like a darker, more streetwise view of the Turtles. Apparently one of the ideas for the story was that the Shredder was back, but it wasn't the Shredder, it was a different person, and that different person was another turtle, because when they were kids, there were 5 turtles, and one got lost, and the lost brother took the mantle of the Shredder and wanted revenge on the other 4 turtles. And that there'd be like a battle on a speeding train, and I bet, man, I'd be up for that movie. I would be very curious to that film. Plus, it'd be an interesting way to have the Shredder in it, but you've established that they did deal with the Shredder before, and now that I think about it, I don't know if it would have been a sequel to the 1990 movie. It might be one of those things that, yeah, they did deal with him, and now he's back, but it's a different person. I just, again, considering the Michael Bay produced stuff we got, I would have been more curious about this. And people like Hallmark Entertainment, but yeah, I realized back then Hallmark was doing films like Merlin, that Sam Neill film, Merlin. Like, those were the films Hallmark was doing with the miniseries aspect. And Merlin and some of those, Jim Henson did makeup work for it. So you have to wonder. I know they talk about there would be CGI enhancements, but I do think it could have been enhanced with maybe like the eyes or the mouth. That's the thing. If you're going to do CGI enhancements, I think you do it all practical. We've seen many films have done it. The first two '90s movies, I think, hold up fairly well, in my opinion. But if you gotta do CGI enhancements on the eyes and mouth, do that and make the rest practical. And if you did Jim Henson work like Marlon and some of those other Hallmark Entertainment movies, and then being a 2-night, 4-hour event, I'd be very curious about that. I really would. So that was sadly something that never happened. Same with at one point John Woo was going to either, I think, produce an animated Ninja Turtle film. They didn't really go into what the story was, but John Woo was a fan of the Ninja Turtles, and I might scratch animation, have him direct a live action version. But even him producing an anime version, I'd be more curious to see what that would have been other compared to the 2007 CGI movie we got. But it is what it is. Other ones, Shadow Company, Jack Craven, Wealth of Knowledge. This is a guy that has all sorts of crazy stuff. Like he mentioned Commando 2, how fucking insane the action would have been. On the stuff he described on Commando 2, how it'd be just an insane balls-to-the-wall action movie. Yeah, I would love to have seen that. A Shadow Company. The idea was that it was going to be John Carpenter directing, Shane Black and Fred Dekker writing. I think Walter Hill would have produced it, and Kurt Russell would have starred in it. I'm like, wait, Shane Black, Fred Dekker, this is the guys who were writing, Fred Dekker did the Monster Squad, and Shane Black, he written films like Lethal Weapon. He worked on Predator with Arnold. Shane Black was cast, but he also worked on the script a little bit while he was on set. And then John Carpenter directing, and Kurt Russell starring, and then Walter Hill having his say in it. And the idea was, in Vietnam, there was a team of soldiers, and supposedly they were dead. Well, sometime later, these 6 corpses, they're revived. Just they're scientifically altered, impervious to pain, physical damage, death. The Shadow Company themselves pull themselves out of the grave. They did an armory of weapons, and they take over a fucking town. They kill a shitload of people in this town. And the one person that was part of that group that didn't die, he just wanted to be left alone, is Kurt fucking Russell. So Kurt Russell fighting a bunch of heavily armed zombie Vietnam vets, directed by John Carpenter and written by Shane Black and Fred Dekker. Shadow Company. Why this never got made, I have no fucking clue. So yeah, I would love to have seen that film. I think this would have been... It might have been after... For John Carpenter, I want to say it might have been 89 this would have been made. So he would have done They Live and Prince of Darkness. As, okay, this is going to be his next step back to a studio film after Big Trouble in Little China. Sadly, it never happened. Same with John Carpenter, he wanted to do Creature from the Black Lagoon. He wanted to do Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I think Rick Baker was going to do the effects, but they said no, they being Universal, no, we want you to do Village of the Damned. He's like, well, I don't really want to do Village of the Damned. Too bad. I believe it's Universal. It might have been another company that did that, Village of the Damned. I don't know, he was told not to do Creature for the Black Lagoon, and he didn't really want to do Village of the Damned, so, but he did it. Because it was a movie. John Hughes, director of The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. He wanted to do a comedy with Sylvester Stallone and John Candy where they played feuding neighbors. I believe Stallone's character was a former baseball player and John Candy worked at a bank or something. And it was called Bartholomew versus Neff. and they were neighbors that would get along with each other, and then the friendship disintegrates, and then they have a battle to the finish. Do you imagine Sylvester Stallone and John Candy's neighbors, then they start battling each other? And when I think of like, I think one of the reasons it didn't get made was because Curly Sue didn't do well. John Hughes took the criticisms and the box office failure hard. To me, too hard. It's like, it's okay, man, but he took it a bit too harsh and didn't do the film, which is sad. That would have been really cool to see. I mean, that's when Stallone wanted to get into comedy, you know. And then John Candy worked with John Hughes quite a bit. Man, I would love to have seen that. Other Stallone films, Fatalis. That's the one where it was saber-toothed tigers brought back and let loose on a city, and Stallone had to go hunt them down. Hey, to see a big monster movie type of theme with Stallone, that would have been really cool. Like a creature feature flick. Same with Isobar. I keep mentioning Isobar. And it was so close to getting made. Because the story was about a train that travels from LA to London. And it's the maiden voyage of this like supersonic train. And then there's an experiment on board. It breaks loose. It's a plant-type creature with tentacles. Made by Rick Baker, designing the monster. And what this creature would do was grab someone and suck the water out of them. Which I think was a cool idea. To suck, because so much of our body's made of water, suck the moisture out of them. And it would star Sylvester Stallone, Kim Basinger, Jim Belushi, Walter Matthau, and it would be directed by Roland Emmerich. This would be before Universal Soldier, I believe. I'm trying to remember if it was before or after Universal Soldier. It was before, I can't remember. But then, like, they were weeks from getting the film started, and the bankruptcy, Terrical Pictures, and with Terrical, they would have put some money into it. I mean, it's hard to blame Cutthroat Island because they had already made that movie and they were still in financial cataclysm. But it's like, man, just don't do Cutthroat Island. Just save the money. Just put in a nest egg, save the money, and then put it with this movie. Like Stallone, why not? You could do Isobar today. Because you're dealing with a creature. You don't need to be fucking Bruce Lee to deal with it. If you can run, and if you can fire a gun or a flamethrower, you could do Isobar. And maybe it would work better because you're an older guy. Oh, hey, old man, we'll deal with it. Oh, you'll know who you're talking about. This man has... You list his credentials. He was in Special Forces. And then there you go. Underdog. Which Stallone does best. The underdog quality to a character. You could bring that to it. You do have people make fun of him. Oh, come on, Grandpa. Just stay here. But then he's a guy, because he knows what to do. Experience. Takes care of business. You could do that movie today. Other than your estate plan sequels and Bat Trace and all this other shit. Speaking of which, Rambo 5, The Savage Hunt. Because for years, Stallone mentioned he wanted to do Hunter. I'm sorry, I forget who it was. They mentioned, oh, Stallone's doing Hunter. I'm like, no, they're not. And he was a nice guy, but he was very adamant. Oh, no, he's going to do Hunter. I'm like, he's not doing Hunter. He will never do Hunter. If you don't know what Hunter is, it's sort of a take on Predator. But it's in the snow, and I've always wanted to see that. Stallone in a monster movie. That's like the Van Damme in a monster movie, Stallone in a monster movie. That's the stuff I've always wanted to see. And you could do it today, because fighting a monster doesn't mean you have to punch and kick it. It means you could use all sorts of weapons and materials and inventions or whatever the sort to do it. Like Van Damme, do Abominable, which I'll get to. Do Holy Blood, which I'll get to. Stallone, do Hunter. Do Isobar. And with the Hunter aspect, he wanted to put that into Rambo 5. Where this creature and somehow Rambo gets involved, and everyone said no, because everyone had a bug up their ass going, you can't have Rambo in this. This is ridiculous, as silly, as stupid. These are the same people that would never see the film in the first place. These are probably the same people that talk shit about Stallone and want him canceled. Which, by the way, an update on that, it was a rumor. He didn't even join the fucking... He didn't even join the fucking club. So the NBC legal analyst fucked up and heard a rumor. And I'm leaving that video up because the guy still tried to get Stallone canceled. And even worse, it was over a fucking rumor that wasn't even true. But I mean, I guarantee you, if I took a poll, which would you rather have? The Rambo 5 we got, that's a shitty version of Taken, but going to Mexico, or Rambo 5 The Savage Hunt, where's Rambo's version of Predator, but in the snow? If I did a poll, which would, and you can't say neither, you have to pick one, would you rather have Last Blood, the film we have, or The Savage Hunt? I think more people would choose The Savage Hunt. Maybe I'm crazy. I know I would rather have seen that than the lazy, boring film we got. That's one of the many reasons why I don't like Rambo 5. Because I'm like, Stallone had a chance to do The Savage Hunt. He said no, and he went with this idea. Fuck. Rambo 5, The Savage Hunt. In fact, that's probably going to be the picture I put over here. Isobar, some Van Damme stuff. Holy Blood. What's Holy Blood? Sheldon Lettich, who directed Van Damme in Lionheart and The Order, Double Impact. He was co-writing the script. And the details are vague, but it would have been The Exorcist meets The X-Files. And Jean-Claude Van Damme would have played a police officer dealing with the occult. Why that never got made, I don't know. That would have been cool to see. Same with Abominable. Now, there was a movie called Abominable made, but this is a different story. And I like Abominable. That's the one with Matt McCoy, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's gone back to this place because of this tragedy that happened a long time ago. So he's trying to overcome his demons. Across the way is another cabin with a bunch of pretty ladies, and there's a Bigfoot running around. And that's a fun movie. That's, I think, one of the better, honestly, one of the best Bigfoot movies. But this is a different Abominable. This would have been 95, where Jean-Claude Van Damme films like Time Cop and Hard Target was a hit. A UN task force is sent to look for missing Red Cross workers in the Himalayas. And a murderous Yeti is the culprit. Directors like Rennie Harlan was linked to it. And it was described as Predator in the Snow. Why is it anytime you have a Predator in the Snow, oh, Stallone, Hunter, Rambo 5, don't do it. Van Damme, Abominable, don't do it. I want to see it. You could do it today. Take what was that shitty movie I saw? But the Bigfoot looked good. I forgot what the fuck it was called already. But there's been some low budget films with some really good looking Bigfoot. Now just you put some action and explosions, and if you don't do fisticuffs, to have Van Damme do like a couple kicks just for shits and giggles. But I mean, you could do it, but they don't. Because, oh, if I do this, I'll look laughable and people will laugh at me. I'm like, dude, people are already laughing at you. It's like Stallone, Van Damme, they don't realize that the majority of people don't like you anymore. And it sucks, and I disagree with them. But that's reality, because a lot of people, they're more into superhero movies, they're more into comic book movies, and they look at films like the Delta Force, and Cobra, and Rambo 3 as jokes. And I don't agree with them at all, but that's what the majority looked at with these movies. They laugh at them. You know how many times when I had my Cobra posters, people said, this guy likes Cobra. Or this, you like Hard Target. That's the mentality of a lot of people today. I don't have to agree with them. But don't listen to those people, Stallone and Van Damme. Because they're not going to see your film regardless. I do. I want to see Holy Blood. I want to see Abominable. I want to see The Savage Hunt. I want to see that Rambo 5. I want to see Isobar. But we can't get it. Other movies, Neil Blomkamp's Alien 3. I'm against sequels, but a movie that wipes out the original Alien 3 and to have Ripley and Hicks and Newt back. If you can't do a live action, do it animated. Do an animated movie. Why not? You could do an animated film, and you could have Ripley and Hicks look as young as they want, because it's animated. Why not do an animated film? Neil Blomkamp's idea, do it animated, and then they could do the voices. Disney, since you own the Alien franchise now, but now they don't make the Alien Queen a fucking Disney princess. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. Yet again, I know there were comic books made. Freddy vs. Jason came out, was a hit. There was talks of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, but Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and others couldn't agree on stuff. So they made comic books. I'm not really a fan of the storyline in the comics, but I still think the idea could be fun. I didn't do it animated. And then people are like, oh, it's too much to do live action. Do it animated. Bruce Campbell let him do the voice of Ash. Robert Englund, he's too old to play Freddy. He could voice the character. You can even go in your underwear if you want and voice the character. But I mean, for some reason, like, for all of these movies, you could do an animated. If you think live action's too expensive. But, I mean, I guess not. But that's some I mentioned. Again, it's like, videos like 20 minutes long. I could go on and on. I mean, there's the Crusade, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Paul Verhoeven, where it'd be R-rated bloody to the point like Braveheart type of bloody. Arnold worked with Paul Verhoeven yet again after Total Recall. I think that'd be pretty damn cool. It's just one of those things that, you know, with Carrico, man, Crusade and Isobar could have potentially saved their company. Not for certain, but again, if Crusade and Isobar, Stallone and Schwarzenegger both came out, they could have potentially saved that company. They really could have. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe it was too far gone. But that'd be a hell of a way to go out in a blaze of glory. Sadly, that's not the case. There's a point that John Carpenter and Dolph Lundgren were going to do a film together. I think it was called Meltdown or something. Or I don't know. I don't know if they were going to do it together. It might have been a film John Carpenter's going to do. Then it might have been a film Dolph Lundgren was going to star in. So I'm not for certain the details on that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies that sell and never got made. And then look at the shit that gets made today. That's another reason why I get especially mad at certain films in today's age. I'm like, that got fucking made? Not Shadow Company, not Fatalis, not Isobar, not Abominable, not Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. But whoa, we got a Coming to America where Eddie Murphy gets date raped. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Extended scenes of women sniffing dirty BO-infested sweaters from Aquamans. Yay. That's just me though. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.